The final stretch of the Washington Nationals is finally here. So here is what you have to look out for in the final 2 weeks of the national season.
You are Locked On Nationals, your daily Washington Nationals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. And yes, we are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every single day. And later on in today's program, we'll have a Nats Braves preview, as tonight you have got the struggling Spencer Strider, which is a new thing here in town, going up against Mitchell Parker. We'll have that preview later on in the show today. And in the second segment, we start off discussing Daylen Lile, because Daylen Lile did the thing again yesterday with a big-time hit, ultimately getting the Nationals the win. We'll discuss that later on in the show today. But with the final stretch starting tonight, I'm going to tell you what to watch out for, and it starts with our star, James Wood. But today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel, and right now new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the FanDuel app today. So the final stretch of the season is here. We've got 2 more weeks, really less than 2 weeks now, because 13 days left in the season. But here is what you have to watch out for. My number one thing is James Wood. There has been no question. James Wood, from the All-Star break through now, has struggled. It has not been a big struggle for him, but you saw what he did in the first half of the season compared to what he has done in the second half, and it is a night and day difference. Right now, James Wood is really only on pace for what? Maybe 30 home runs at this point in time. And again, that's just not good enough considering where he was at the All-Star break. Looking at his numbers between the first half and as well as the second half, it is not even close. And again, in the second half since the All-Star break, he only has 3 home runs. This is someone who was on pace this season for around mid-40s home runs in his first full season, which would have been incredible if he could do that. But even then, hitting 27 home runs, or even 30 if you can hit 3 over the next few games here, that's an incredible season for your first full one. But right now, James Wood has 204 strikeouts. That leads Major League Baseball. You've seen the strikeout rate go up and up in the second half. And honestly, it's just been a struggle for him. I want to see what James Wood can do the final 2 weeks here. Number one, the motivation has to be there. This team has been playing a little bit better as of recent here. You saw them go on a little bit of a hot streak. They had a nice weekend series against the Pirates here in DC. And honestly, you have the Braves coming to town tonight. These are the series that you want to see. These are the series that you want to see James Wood really excel in. Right now for James Wood, again, having a 470 slug in the season, check that, that's awesome. An 826 OPS, a 133 OPS plus, but I still want to see more. And again, getting to that 30 home run mark for me over these next few games, that would mean a lot to a lot of different Nationals out there. I mean, again, going back to it, the Nationals have not had a real power hitter probably since Juan Soto. You have not had someone have the ability to hit 30 to 40 home runs each season since you traded away a future Hall of Famer. Right now, you have got that caliber hitter here in DC, and you have the opportunity to maybe excel here over the next few weeks and hopefully get to that 30 home run mark. So right now, all eyes have to be on James Wood for me. And again, the struggles so far, they have been a real issue. And it hasn't been like this massive sound the alarms kind of equation here. But with where Wood was compared to where he is now, it is a night and day difference. We were talking about him, or maybe just me, but I was talking about him being like one of the better hitters in the National League at this point, going back a few months ago. And right now, with these struggles, with the strikeout rate nearly 40% at times in those stretches. You have to wonder about what's kind of gone wrong. Is it the motivation? Is it when you get rid of Mike Rizzo and Davey Martinez and really change things up in the clubhouse? Is it the fact that this team has been completely checked out since the beginning of July? What are the factors here? And also, is it the home run derby? Maybe it messed up his swing a little bit. And now all of a sudden, he's trying to swing for the fences and he's not getting the home runs because, again, 3 home runs over his last 2 months. Not great. Things are going to have to change, obviously, but my number one thing to watch out for moving forward has got to be James Wood and to see if he can get over this hump. My number 2 thing is the Nationals bullpen. The Nationals bullpen for probably since the beginning of the trade deadline, this bullpen has been stout and at some times has been actually elite. The addition of Clayton Beeter, he has been electric. He collected his first save against Pittsburgh Pirates yesterday as Jose Ferrer was absent out of the bullpen. Jose Ferrer has taken a step up. You have seen guys like Shin Ogasawara taking a step up. You have seen a lot of different things from this Nationals bullpen, but right now, without Cole Henry, who's going to be on the IL for the rest of the season, and Orlando Rebalta coming back up, can this bullpen finish strong? These are the big questions that I have moving forward. You look at the stats of this bullpen right now, they've got the worst ERA, they've got the second worst whip, but even then, if you look over these past month or 2 months, this Nationals bullpen has actually been really good at times. And they have actually found a nice little 8-9 pairing there with Clayton Beeter in the 8th, and you have Jose Ferrer in the 9th. This Nationals bullpen has some talent, believe it or not. And again, it's not going to be the most talented thing moving forward. This is not going to be an elite bullpen heading into next season. But I do believe they have found a nice little recipe of success here with Cole Henry, who, again, is on the IL. He's going to be out for the rest of the season. But you have Clayton Beeter. You have Jose Ferrer, who looks the part. Andrew Alvarez, what's the future of him going to be? You've got a lot of questions surrounding this bullpen, but I also have a lot of answers. And right now, with the way that the Nationals have been out of the bullpen, PJ Pulin, he has been really good at times as well. A 2.33 ERA and 21 appearances for the Nationals this season. 19 and a third innings pitch, a 1.34 whip. The Nationals have figured out at least a Band-Aid fix for this bullpen. But can that carry on into next season? And can that carry on over the next 2 weeks? That's going to be something that I will be watching for as well. But last but not least, CJ Abrams. It's no mistake at this point, or really no questions, rather. CJ Abrams is having a brutal season defensively. Over his last 19 games, he has 8 errors. Guys, that is unbelievable. And over his last 2 games, I mean, it's just been really brutal. Again, a throwing error yesterday and another error on Saturday. I mean, the Nationals have got to figure this out defensively. And it starts with CJ Abrams and also Luis Garcia for that matter. Luis Garcia and Abrams both at times last season looked like they improved defensively, but this season they have regressed. Are these going to be the same issues going into 2026? If I'm the Nationals, you got to fix something here. Because as we have seen, these errors can be very costly for this team. And also, it's not just with Abrams and Garcia as well. The Nationals have been poor defensive team for a long time at this point. So going into the final few weeks here, I want to see Abrams just have clean defense overall. Luis Garcia Jr., clean defense up the middle. Catcher position, figure it out. These are all the questions that right now are probably the biggest overwhelming things for this Nationals team. And can they finally figure it out? So over these next 2 weeks, just to kind of put a bow on this conversation, I want to watch for James Wood. The strikeout rate has been there, obviously. You've seen him strike out nearly 40% of his at-bats at times. I want to see what the Nationals bullpen will be without Cole Henry, who has been a solid core of this bullpen for the entirety of this 2025 season. What can they do without him now, who's going to be on the shelf, and he's not going to be able to be in that fireman role anymore, that 7th inning spot where he's done so well in over the past few months here. And then also, last but not least, the defensive issues. Starts with CJ Abrams, who again has 8 errors over his last 19 games. Can he finally figure it out defensively? And can he get better? Because right now, it has not been good defensively. And also that goes for the same for Luis Garcia Jr. So we'll see if the Nationals can clean things up. But I'm watching for those few things. What says you? Let me know down in the YouTube comment sections. Again, look up Locked On Nationals wherever you get your pods. You can tweet at me at Ryan Clary 11 as well. But next, let's jump into this. Daylen Lile. I cannot go a day without talking about Daylen Lile because he is so good. Let's tell you about what he did again yesterday that just makes this team so much better. We'll discuss that after this. And yes, the NFL season is here, and FanDuel is making sure that you are ready for kickoff with a can't miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. And I love using FanDuel because it fits however you like to bet. Player props, building a same game parlay, or even jumping in live as the action unfolds. Like tonight, I've got a Mike Evans anytime touchdown score against the Houston Texans, but also I've got the Texans on the money line. It's quick, easy, and the best way to add a little more energy to your football slate. So are you ready to play? You can download the FanDuel app today now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. Again, download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That is FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. And again, use FanDuel and download America's #1 sportsbook at FanDuel. And now we tell you about our friends over at PrizePicks. And this episode is brought to you by PrizePicks, a daily fantasy app where making the right call can actually pay off. You and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right means cashing in. And with football packed, PrizePicks is the simplest and fastest way to get in on the action. Just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections, and you can turn your takes into real prizes all in less than 60 seconds. And I've been playing PrizePicks lately, and it's such a fun way to stay locked in for the season. It's quick, easy, and honestly, my favorite way to follow along with football. Like tonight, for instance, I've got Mike Evans again over on the touchdown totals for him. Maybe you have CJ Stroud over on his passing yards. You can do all of that with our friends at PrizePicks. So download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. PrizePicks, it's always good to be right. And thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we're free and available wherever you get your podcast. So yesterday, Daylen Lile came up in the clutch again for the Washington Nationals. And if you have questions about him being in the opening day lineup going into next season, I'm going to tell you right now, you're wrong. Daylen Lile will be in your National starting lineup on opening day of 2026. It's already in pen. He could go 0 for the next 14 days here, and I'm still putting him in my opening day lineup. Over Daylen Lile's last 43 games, catch this out for a second, 53 hits, 8 doubles, 8 triples, 3 home runs, 22 RBIs. In that time frame, batting .338 with a .387 OBP and a .548 slug and a .935 OPS. These are ridiculous numbers for a rookie hitter at this point. And by the way, he finally has a positive B WAR out there. What has kind of dragged him down so far is probably his defense, which I would like to see cleaned up. But what he provides offensively for this team, he has been by far and away your best offensive player since the All-Star break. And yesterday with his clutch hit, having the Nationals take the lead there with another O'Neal Cruz botch, by the way. Can we just take a second to talk about O'Neal Cruz real quick? For the immensely talented outfielder, the way that he is, like 6'6", he has a cannon for an arm, some of the hardest hit balls ever recorded in Major League Baseball. This guy blows as a center fielder. and probably one of the most frustrating players to watch out there because he has got all the tools to be an all-star MVP caliber player. Yet he makes some simple, easy, and quite frankly, lazy mistakes the way that we saw in yesterday's game. In the bottom of the 8th inning, with the Nationals all tied up at 3, Daylen Lile comes in to bat, flips one, which, by the way, the quick, beautiful swing to just splash one to left center field gap there from the right side of the, or from the left side of the plate. Daylen Lile just continues to be wildly impressive in that regard. Going the other way, again, taking a pitch from the outer zone, splashing into left center field. O'Neal Cruz had a ball literally as he's going to backhand it, had it go under his glove. And I feel like I've seen that mistake from him a million times at this point. And this also comes from Friday night's game, of which he did the same thing practically with James Wood. And then he also misread a ball from James Wood that was like 118 miles per hour off the bat. I mean, he struggles in the outfield. He is not look comfortable out there whatsoever. But even then, I'm going to bet on that guy getting it right. He's way too good of an athlete. And at times, he's too good of a player to be making those mistakes. So that was my number one thing, my number one takeaway. But back to Daylen Lile here. He is such an elite player at this point. Offensively speaking, the way that he has carried this Nationals team and the way that he has given them an energy boost also has been something that I don't think anyone expected out of the rookie. He is certainly going to be something for this team down the road. He is going to be a mainstay, big piece for this Nationals team down the road. And honestly, at this point, with all the players out there that we talk about, we want to extend CJ Abrams. We want to extend Mackenzie Gore. How about Daylen Lile? How about we get that discussion started this offseason? Would you trust the Nationals' new front office potential to make this move? Would you trust the new front office to finally extend one of the Nationals' young core pieces? And maybe it's going to be Daylen Lile. Because at this point, if you look at it, there are some real questions about CJ Abrams and kind of the future of the scene. I'm not the one to say, listen, I would sign CJ Abrams to an extension tomorrow if I can. But also, I think the Nationals and probably the worth that they see with him compared to what CJ Abrams sees in itself might be very different. And we have seen the inconsistencies this season, especially as of recent. Again, we don't know if he's going to be your shortstop moving forward. In fact, it's probably going to be Eli Willits. That'll be in a few years from now. But seriously, you have to wonder about the Nationals and kind of what they are thinking. Daylen Lile might be that new guy that we're all saying, you better extend him. Because we can talk about Brady House, who, again, also is not a Scott Boras client, but quite frankly, hasn't shown me enough that I can say he will be a part of my future at this point. Daylen Lile has done that, though. And he has some elite factors with him. My number one thing, something that you can't really judge, but if you know kind of thing, the hands are elite. The way that he can just flip his wrists and get the ball into left field and go the other way, but also pull a ball on the inside and get it down the right field line, those are some elite wrist movements. Some that we have seen from guys like Anthony Rendon at times. James Wood has been that caliber of hitter probably in the first half of this season. But that's not something that you can really teach. That is a natural skill set that Daylen Lile has, and he has thrived at this point. Then also another elite factor, his whiff rate. His whiff percentage is elite, not even just amongst major league players, but more importantly, rookies. And also his sprint speed, 90th percentile sprint speed. One thing that I'd like to see Daylen Lile do more of is probably steal some more bases, because honestly, you know that he can. This is someone who can steal 30 to 40 bases a year, in my opinion. On top of the power tool, on top of the extra base hit threat, and on top of hopefully an improved defensive stature moving forward. But Daylen Lile continues to be one of the most important Nationals down the stretch. And what he has proven to me this year is, again, there is no question in my mind about where Daylen Lile stands at opening day. He is going to be your opening day right fielder or left fielder or maybe a DH. but he is going to be in the middle of this lineup, and he belongs at this point. He is going to have to make some adjustments defensively. And again, we have seen some of the struggles at times. You've seen the kind of the lack of range, and at times he just kind of looks like a chicken with his head cut off there in right field, if we're just being honest at this juncture. But I think Daylen Lile, again, still belongs up at the bigs and still belongs to be a crucial part for this team moving forward. And I'm ready at this point in time to say, you know what? I'm good to marry him. Let me get that extension. And Daylen Lile, we might have to talk about that for the Nationals moving forward. So thank you all for making Locked On Nats your first listen. If you haven't done so already, look us up Locked On Nationals wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's over on Apple, Spotify, and of course the video version over on YouTube. Again, just look up Locked On Nationals. But next, let's talk about the Nationals and the Braves series. The Braves have had a wildly disappointing season. We'll have that discussion for you after this. And yes, you have probably seen a million ads for hair growth products and thought, sure, like that actually works. There are so many products out there, and it's hard to know which ones are actually going to do anything. And that is why you should give Nutrafol a closer look. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people. And it's not just hype. This is a supplement clinically tested that targets the root cause of thinning and shedding with a proactive approach. And I started noticing less shedding and healthier looking hair after using Nutrafol. And whether you are at work or out with friends or even just getting ready in the morning, Nutrafol gives you more confidence in your daily routine. And I love that Nutrafol is simple to add to your day. Just 4 pills with a meal, no prescription needed. It's that easy. So see thicker, stronger hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol for a limited time. Nutrafol is offering Locked On MLB listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code Locked On MLB. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code Locked On MLB. Thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. So the 66-83 Atlanta Braves come to town to face off against the 62-87 Washington Nationals. And I guess the Nationals are technically not out of it just yet because, again, the Nationals, they've got an opportunity to potentially catch up against the Braves and not finish 5th in the NL East, which, in my opinion, I thought the Braves were going to win the NL East this year. I thought they could make a deep run again, but ultimately, injuries, pitching has not been great, and they just have not been the same Atlanta Braves team that we have seen, and now people are kind of starting to question whether or not they're going to be the evil empire that we have seen them be for the last decade plus, it feels like at times. So with right now, with where the Braves are, you've got Spencer Strider on the bump tonight, and he has just been disgustingly bad. He has a 1.85 whip over his last 7 starts and also 50 hits given up with 28 earned runs over his past 7 starts. That is ugly. I mean, he is averaging 4 earned runs per start. He is averaging a ton of hits per start at this point. Again, you do the math, 50 divided by 7, a lot of hits given up. And he's also walking the yard at this juncture. Spencer Strider has completely fallen off a cliff, and that is good news for Nationals fans because this guy has dominated against us in years past. But unfortunately, we have Mitchell Parker on the bump tonight, who has not had some good starts against the Atlanta Braves. But also, you've got a long series here. You got a 4-game series here, a doubleheader tomorrow that will likely be postponed, by the way, because of the rain coming in tomorrow night. So we'll see what the Nationals can do. It's going to be a fun, eventful series against the Atlanta Braves. But until then, I will catch you guys on the flip side. Have a good one. Go Nats.